Now on KOIN 6 News, new developments today in Washington where teachers have been on strike for the last 2 weeks. Plus, a wildfire in Northern California has a major interstate shut down, and local parents shocked their children can't buy milk at Portland schools this year. We're getting to the bottom of the change for kids who pack their lunches.
From the KOIN 6 Newsroom, this is breaking news.
Welcome to KOIN 6 News at 5. I'm Trevor Alt. We begin with breaking news tonight. Gresham police are on the hunt for a shooter. Police tell us a man was shot in the stomach near the 2700 block of West Powell Boulevard, and that's where crews are stationed right now. We want to show you video of the scene. Gresham police tell KOIN 6 that shooting suspect is still at large. He's described as Hispanic or a Pacific Islander. He was last seen wearing a red shirt. Now, minutes ago, we got an update from Gresham police. They tell us that they still haven't been able to speak to the victim in this case, but they don't believe that this was a random act of violence. They think it's likely that this was targeted. We're working to learn more about the victim and their current condition. Again, one person shot in the stomach. You can stick with KOIN 6 as we track the latest developments of this breaking news, and you can always get the latest updates at KOIN.com. We're also following more breaking news tonight. The search is on for a missing hiker who hasn't been seen since last month. Police tell KOIN 6 they found Diana Bober's car in Zigzag, and that's out near Mount Hood. Now search and rescue crews are scouring the area near the Hunchback Trailhead in hopes of finding clues of where she could possibly be. Our Jennifer Dowling is live on the scene of that search now. Jennifer, what is the latest from search crews?
Well, still no luck in finding Diana Bobber. They're still looking for her. We're at the trailhead where you can see they have it taped off right now and a warning sign there indicating that the search is underway. They've been looking for her since August 29th when she was last seen. She's 55 years old and an avid hiker known to visit the Columbia River Gorge and Mount Hood area. Her family became worried after she failed to return home or contact them. She has red hair, is 5 feet 4 inches tall and 115 pounds. Her black 1996 Mazda Miata was found this weekend near this trailhead where we are right now. Search and rescue crews are still on the hunt for her. If you think you might have seen her around the day she disappeared or on the trails near Zigzag and Mount Hood, contact the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. And of course, it looks like search and rescue crews will be here combing the woods throughout the afternoon and perhaps into the evening until it gets dark. And they just found her car here near this parking lot yesterday. So again, the search continues, and we'll have an update for you at 6 o'clock. Back to you, Trevor.
Very much, Jennifer. Certainly wish them luck. After continuous strikes kept teachers and students out of classrooms for more than a week, 2 more Southwest Washington school districts have reached tentative agreements with union negotiators. Early this morning, we learned of tentative deals reached in Evergreen and Longview. The teachers' unions in both of those districts are now voting today to determine whether or not to ratify the deals and then return to class. Now, you might recall earlier this week, a judge ordered Longview teachers back to the classroom, after which the president of the Longview Education Association explained to us why they were striking to begin with.
And we're just, trying to get the dollars that were coming from the state back down to the teachers where they were intended.
It's possible they may have achieved that goal. Evergreen's union gathered today at 3. They are voting right now. We haven't heard of the results just yet. If they ratify the deal, they'll be back to class tomorrow. Meanwhile, Longview's union will meet and vote tonight at 6. If they ratify their deal, teachers will have a planning day tomorrow. Classes will resume on Tuesday. At this point, there are only 4 districts in Washington that have not reached agreements. The only one remaining in our area is Battleground. Of course, you'll want to tune in to KOIN 6 News this morning. Tomorrow morning, Jenny and Ken, the rest of our morning news crew, will be all over this story as some classes get back into gear. Monday morning, we'll have the latest for you. The Terwilliger fire burning around the Cougar Reservoir has grown to just under 10,000 acres, and it's only 41% contained as of right now. Now, this is happening about 5 miles southeast of Blue River Lake. That's south of McKenzie Highway 126. Crews report that clear skies are allowing for continued bucket drops, which is significantly reducing the risk of the fire spreading. Right now, Forest Service Road 19 is closed to public traffic due to unsafe conditions. Fortunately, there's currently no evacuation notices in place for this fire. Now, around the area, getting maybe a little bit of help with some upcoming rain. Let's get to meteorologist Joseph Dames. Joseph, what are we looking at?
Yeah, right now we're just hours away from rain hitting the coast of Oregon. And then eventually it's going to reach us here in Portland. But for now, it's going to be a really nice Sunday evening. I hope you're enjoying it. Let's take a look at the satellite and radar. That area of low pressure, it's up there. It's cycling. It looks like a wagon wheel right here, just to the northwest of Vancouver Island. And it's just kind of stay there practically for the next couple of days, but it's going to provide a few waves of energy. You can see showers sliding into areas here of Washington and into Vancouver Island. Eventually, front's going to move on in, and that's going to bring in some showers for us. For now, it's just beautiful outside. How about this? Vancouver at 78. You can see the blue sky out there. Meadows 59. Stoller at 77. And Seaside, some clouds, but the sunshine peeking on through. For your evening planner, expect our temperatures to just hang out in the 70s. Will be about 67 degrees, cooling down about the 8 p.m. hour, maybe a little bit later than that. And then we'll see more clouds starting to move on in as we go through the evening hours. Now, I expect that rain to approach us through the overnight. So does that mean it's going to be bothersome come tomorrow for your commute? It's about that coming up in my full forecast.
Sounds good, Joseph. Thank you. It's been a dangerous 24 hours on roads around the area. Just this afternoon, Marion County deputies say a motorcycle collided with an SUV that killed the motorcyclist. This happened in Salem on Silverton Road Northeast near 81st Avenue. Right now, the driver of the SUV is not injured, is cooperating with investigators. The road was closed for several hours while specialized investigators with the crash team investigated. That road has since reopened. Meanwhile, Oregon State Police tell us a man is dead after he rolled his truck off an embankment and into some trees on Highway 26 near milepost 200. This happened yesterday afternoon just before 2. 39-year-old Gordon Waite was pronounced dead at the scene. There's no word yet on what caused him to roll his truck. And also another fatal crash, this time on Highway 281 near Parkdale early yesterday morning. OSP tells us 22-year-old James Tickner ran his truck off the highway into a ditch and then it caught fire. He was also pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators believe speed and substance use are contributing factors in this specific case. Portland Public Schools are no longer allowing students who take their lunch to school to buy milk. The district says it has to do with a new state law, and our Lisa Balick has been asking the district for answers.
Milk cartons alongside lunch boxes have been a fixture at schools for decades. But before school started this year, Portland Public Schools informed parents that students would no longer be able to purchase a milk a la carte. But the district said milk would still come with a purchased school lunch or with a school meal that's part of the free and reduced lunch program. We wanted to know why the change for kids who pack their lunch. The district would not go on camera, but in a statement said it has to do with a state law that now prevents school officials from talking to students about their meal accounts. House Bill 3454 was designed to prevent lunch shaming, publicly identifying kids who can't pay for a meal or owe money for a meal, putting a kid on the spot. Instead, now contact can only be made from the school with a parent or guardian, and a child gets the meal regardless of whether there's money in their account. Portland Public Schools says as a result, the district was stuck with a $200,000 bill last year from unpaid meal debt, and a la carte milk was part of that. I asked some people their thoughts about this.
So I think they should have it available for kids, and maybe they could say they have to pay ahead of time or something, but that seems kind of ridiculous that they are not going to offer milk.
I do understand the other side of it, the waste, for sure. If no one's buying it or paying for it, then the school district has to pay for it, so I see that side as well.
The district also said not selling individual milk cartons is a way to reduce milk carton waste. Soda, by the way, in Portland is not offered as an alternative. Instead, students are now urged to bring their own beverage, and school water fountains are back on. Lisa Balick, KOIN 6 News.
Still ahead on KOIN 6 News, we're digging deeper into what's different about local campaign ads this year, including one that's getting a lot of attention, plus the secretive organization that's paying for many of them. And President Trump is paying Twitter tribute to a campaign comment made by his opponent 2 years ago today. Now at 5, Oregon's Department of Human Services is facing a $15 million lawsuit after 2 young girls in foster care were reportedly sexually abused. This lawsuit says 2 girls who were 7 and 5 years old were repeatedly sexually abused by their 13-year-old foster brother. The complaint says DHS knew that the teen boy had previously sexually abused his younger sisters and received treatment related to that abuse. And still, the lawsuit says DHS approved his placement in a foster home with 6 other children, 5 of whom were under the age of 10. The lawsuit says the 7-year-old girl was repeatedly raped and threatened, and the 5-year-old was sexually abused and forced to watch the teen abuse her sister. The foster parent reportedly asked DHS to remove the teen from the home after a month, and DHS didn't take the boy away until another month had passed. Now, DHS did not respond to our request for comment. You know, every time you turn on the TV, you're likely to see a negative ad in the race for Oregon governor. And our Dan Tilkin is digging deeper into what's different about the ads this year and why one ad in particular is getting so much attention.
Do you want to hear a scary story?
The people who are running ads against Kate Brown.
Foster care children don't get enough to eat.
They want this to be an election about foster care.
You can sell drugs while running a daycare.
They want it to be an election about drug dealers.
Perhaps no one examines Oregon politics more closely than Jim Moore.
And the Democrats are running ads. Basically, they want it to be an ad about abortion.
Newt Bueller's record clearly shows he will not protect women's health.
The political science professor confirms what you probably already sense about the summertime ad onslaught.
But this is really the first time we've seen it for a state race, running things, this many ads this early.
I'm Newt Bueller.
As a Republican in a predominantly blue state, Newt Bueller supporters need to get traction early. And Kate Brown's campaign, which has about 7 times more money than Bueller in the bank right now, is claiming they're the victims of unfair politics over this ad.
You can sell drugs while running a daycare.
It's paid for by a pro-Bueller group called Priority Oregon. In a press conference, Democrats demanded TV stations stop running the ad.
Oregon law requires that you tell the truth in advertising, and Priority Oregon isn't doing that.
It says selling drugs while running a daycare.
Wow.
The story that it's based on from a year ago is that they were running a daycare here and selling drugs at a storefront somewhere else. But the implication is they're doing it while your kids are there. So that's a great example of we're telling the truth, but our context is false.
The lawyer for Priority Oregon sent this memo to TV stations pointing out the ad doesn't claim drugs may be sold at or from a child care center, writing the statement that a person can sell drugs while running a daycare is accurate.
Legally, I think they're on good ground. And that television stations looked at it and said, yeah, I think they're on good ground as well.
Democrats are also upset about the secrecy of Priority Oregon.
Newt Bueller should call on Priority Oregon to disclose their donors, and he should denounce their tactics.
Federal and state law allows political groups like Priority Oregon to keep their donors secret. And while refusing to do an interview with KOIN, a spokesperson wrote, "Our organization complies with all transparency laws. We do not disclose our membership or donor list publicly." She said the same thing 7 months ago.
Why this cloud of secrecy regarding who your donors are and who's on your board of directors?
We comply with all disclosure laws according to federal and state government.
Through his campaign, Newt Bueller has also refused to sit down with KOIN and talk about who's behind Priority Oregon, writing, "The Newt for Governor campaign has no involvement with nor control over what this or other independent groups may do or say in this campaign. Under federal law, candidates are not allowed to coordinate with political action committees, and the secrecy cuts both ways."
We've been trying to find you and talk to you about where your money's coming from.
Just months ago, liberal candidate for Washington County District Attorney Max Wall wouldn't tell us who is funding his advertising blitz at a historic rate.
We don't know where your money's coming from.
It wasn't until weeks after the election that IRS records and a lot of research revealed the source was another political action committee with ties to a co-founder of Facebook. In big campaigns, voters are often left in the dark.
Voters can't do anything about it. They simply can't do anything about it. So you have to decide as a voter, does the fact that I don't know who's paying for this, is that a big enough issue for me that I'm going to ignore it or even, in effect, vote against it?
Dan Tilkin, KOIN 6 News.
Well, we do know who's paying meteorologist Joseph Dames. It's KOIN 6 News, and he's here to forecast the weather for us. And we've got a little bit of rain on the way. You could say finally now.
Yes, yes. I mean, we really, really need this rain, and it's still hours away for us, so we get to enjoy the remainder of this week.
Okay.
Yeah,
so enjoy. I think I'm at the point now where I'm going to enjoy some rain also.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're all going to be out there dancing in that. It's going to be so nice by the time it does arrive. It's going to feel good. It might be heavy at times. I mean, it's already pushing into the Olympic Peninsula area, and then eventually it's going to slide into the coast. So we still have some time here. It's going to start areas like Astoria and Long Beach. Again, this is coming from the northwest. At least that front will start there, and it's going to push off to the east and drag across the valley. So I think we're all going to be seeing some rain at some point. East of the Cascades, likely not so much, but if you're going to be west of the Cascades, you'll likely have a little bit of that rain. All right, aerial flow pressure here. It's going to kind of bob right in that direction for the next few days. Now it's going to push to the north just a bit and eventually to the east and then slide right back on down, and that's going to cause a couple waves of showers as we go through the next few days and probably into about midweek. All right, we have the hurricane off to the southwest. That's going to eventually push into the Hawaii region, and by the time it does reach here, it looks like it's going to lose some of that steam, fall into a tropical storm, but we're still going to see some very strong wind and a lot of rain, and boy, that whole section over there has just seen on and off heavy showers and a lot of disturbances this summer. Here's what's going on in Portland right now. 79 degrees, blue sky, a few clouds, northeast breeze about 5 miles per hour, sunset at 7:30. Guess what happens by the time we finish off the month? That sunset's going to be before 7 p.m. We do have a chance for possibly a couple thunderstorms Wednesday into Thursday, and that's going to involve a couple showers too as we go on and off through the week. So not only are we going to get some rain, we might even see some lightning and have some thunder too. All right, 79 right now in Portland, 79 for Salem as well as Eugene. Just couldn't get that little bump into the 80-degree range, but we'll see if some of these neighborhoods do end up finishing off there. We did for Pendleton at 80, Dallas at 81, Redmond about 83 degrees. Here's the timing as we look at one of the forecast models. Again, this has it pushing into the coast about 8 to 9 p.m. About 2 to about 5 a.m. is when that front should arrive here in Portland, bringing in some of those showers. And then it dries up. So I think if you're going to be out tomorrow morning about 8, 9 a.m., we'll likely see some dry conditions, and that goes through the early afternoon. This is trying to keep a little bit of rain, though, as we go into our Monday night. And then here comes another wave on Tuesday and into Wednesday. So this is going to be some of the wettest times that we've seen for a few months now. 7-day forecast, 68 on Tuesday, 66 on Wednesday, so a bit cooler for the midweek. Then we rebound next weekend. Trevor, look at that, 78 degrees by Sunday.
We're never too far away from perfect weather around here, Joseph.
No, not too far at all.
All right, thank you very much. Coming up next, everybody loves a good chocolate chip cookie. The question is there an addictive quality at play? Our Jenny Hansen has the answer after the break. Watching out for your health, you love them and you can't resist them. And we want to know why. It seems like you have to have superhero level self-control to turn down a chocolate chip cookie. Jenny Hansen has the answer.
Warm, gooey, fresh out of the oven chocolate chip cookies. Is there anything that can make you salivate more? Well, there might actually be a scientific reason for that drool. Research suggests that the ingredients in chocolate chip cookies not only create a perfectly harmonious flavor, but they also blend to create a perfectly addictive treat. One of the main ingredients, sugar, is shown to induce cravings and can trigger some of the same addictive responses as cocaine. And using a traditional recipe, each cookie should have about 2.5 teaspoons of sugar. Not to mention the high-fat hit from the creamy butter. Then, of course, there's the chocolate, which contains small amounts of a compound that triggers the same parts of your brain as the addictive ingredient in marijuana, THC. But beyond the science, there's the emotional attachment. For many of us, the smell or sight of chocolate chip cookies can conjure up memories from a place or time long ago. Maybe it's grandma's kitchen or a birthday party. Whatever the reason, no denying these treats are deliciously addictive. Jenny Hansen, KOIN 6 News.
Fair enough, Jenny. Well, coming up next, a man convicted of blackmailing child pornographers has been sentenced to prison. We're going to tell you why. A Portland man is sentenced to more than 5 years in prison for blackmailing child pornographers. Investigators say Andre Shaw would hack into computers, get those illegal images of children, and then threaten to expose the adults if they didn't pay him. Authorities found out about the extortion scheme when they arrested a person for child porn, and the suspect told investigators what was happening. Shaw extorted more than $100,000 from victims, and at least 2 of his victims are now dead after committing suicide. We have a lot more information about this case right now on KOIN.com. Well, still ahead on KOIN 6 News tonight, White House officials are rushing to the president's defense this morning, attempting to debunk the New York Times op-ed that came from inside the administration. Plus, a misunderstanding on Twitter why one U.S. automaker says the president is wrong and they'll be taking their business overseas. Those stories are next. Stay with us.